So thank you very much for joining the session. I think we are actually a few more who is joining, but that's fine. So we have got participants, and we have got some requests for some other participants who will be participating, but that's fine. So we will start the session now. So as you have been properly communicated and informed, this will be a very interactive session. We will provide you some important information, and then we expect the participants to interact. And yeah, could you please mute your mics, please? I request you to mute your mics, please, because otherwise it will be a distraction for our session. Right, thank you very much. So this session, we will give you all the important information about this program and how you could get this opportunity, and from there onwards, how you could proceed to join a very lucrative Japanese IT industry. So we expect you from the participants to interact with us and get more clarifications and clear your doubts as much as possible. So as you know, this is actually a very important and a very good, clear program that will lead to joining a permanent IT job in Japan with a leading mobile applications development company called Yumemi Incorporated. So we are very pleased to also inform that one of the senior members of the Yumemi Incorporated, Mr. Buddhika, is also with us. So when we carry on with the presentations and also the question and answer sessions, you could clarify more information from us as well as Mr. Buddhika, who is Yumemi Incorporated employee and also engineer. So basically, we will start the program now. So what we will first do is to give you a good introduction to what this program about, and give a kind of insight into the company that you will be looking at, called Yumemi Incorporated, and the advantages and what you can look forward to when you join the Yumemi Incorporated, and of course how you could get into this program and the procedure and things like that. So first I would like to invite Samira, Miss Samira, to give a presentation or start presentation on basic details about Yumemi Incorporated and why Yumemi Incorporated is a good company to join as young graduates or people who are working in the IT industry. So yes, thank you. So what do you say?
Thank you, Mr. Deshan. So I think most of the applicants today actually spoken with me or our team, LNBTI team. So first of all, before talking about Yumemi, I also thought of giving an introduction about LNBTI also, Mr. Deshan, because this is this graduate training program. They're asking what is the connection between LNBTI and Yumemi also. They had a question about that also. So basically, LNBTI is the only Japanese higher education institute in Sri Lanka that produce ICT professionals to Japanese job industry. So it's a University Grant Commission and Ministry of Education approved degree awarding institute. So you all don't have to worry about LNBTI's recognition because it's approved by the Ministry of Education and UGC, University Grant Commission. Because when I was talking to most of them, even our Ms. Pavitra and other colleagues, the main questions they had was the recognition of LNBTI also. And so therefore, we initially when we started in 2016, that most of our student, the student from LNBTI only would be able to go for Japanese companies. But when we meet a lot of students, parents and graduates, they ask, why don't you all send graduates, IT graduates to Japan? So that's why our management, chairman and vice chancellor, everybody decided to introduce this program at a crisis like this in Sri Lanka. So I think, so it's a very good national service which will both the countries also get benefited through this program. So that is about LNBTI. So we are the people who are conducting this graduate training program on behalf of Yumemi International.
I think, Samira, I think the most important thing is, of course, a country like Japan, which is one of the most developed countries in the world, especially into IT as well, just technologically developed. I think that kind of a country, you don't find good avenues to go to Japan in the current context. So I think this is probably the one of the only ways that a good graduate with a good IT degree can go to Japan to work in the IT industry as a professional, which can be actually considered as a skilled migration, or getting a PR is also possible by going through this kind of a route. So I think that is why it is very important. So we are very responsibly, that is why we have taken care and scientifically developed this kind of a program, because to go to Japan, I would say, you can't just go to Japan. You need to learn the Japanese language very much and things like that. So we need to have a program that will actually, without any problem, learn the Japanese language. So that is the proper way of learning the Japanese language without any problem, without hassle. So that is, I think, why we have scientifically produced or developed this kind of a program. Samira, over to you.
Yeah, that's very true, Mr. Deshan, because like most of the trend at Sri Lanka is like most of the youngsters migrating. So a lot of people are looking for migration. So this is skill migration with a permanent IT job in Japan. So I know most of my friends are also trying to migrate, but they don't have a particular job in that particular country. So they have to very rigorous time finding jobs. Even they have to spend a lot of money also at the initial investment, and then they don't have a job. So they have to save some amount of money and go to that particular country up until they find a job. That sort of a situation also there, even though you get the skill migration. But here the lucky opportunity is here, because we are doing all the arrangement with our contacts with the Japanese management. You would get a permanent IT job in Japan with a skill migration. So it's a working visa that you get also. So it's under the skill category, because you are going as a mobile application developer or software engineer, like that. So it's a very great opportunity with a minimum cost that you can get. So starting salary would be yen 400,000. So probably you can go 1 million in Sri Lanka rupees. You can go, the sky is the limit when you go to Japan. And if you are really skillful, I know even Mr. Buddhika also, that they said, if you're really confident, you can demand the salary you want once you showed and once you proved you are talented in coding and those areas. So it's a very flexible company also. I will talk about the company a little bit also.
So Samira, I think the starting salary of 400,000 yen, I think this is also something to be highlighted very much, because a lot of students and graduates and even working professionals, when they try to migrate, offer one thing is that to find a job, not a permanent job, even a normal job is difficult. So what they do is they go there and basically they find kind of temporary and part-time jobs. But here you get a permanent job, plus your starting salary is quite lucrative, quite well, actually, it's quite good. So I think 400,000, which is about close to about $1 million, which is actually really good for a person who is starting their career in the IT industry. So I think that's a very good opportunity. So therefore, I would actually strongly suggest to listen to the presentations and clarify as much as possible to get more information. Yeah, Samira, go ahead.
As being patriotic Sri Lankans at a crisis like this, we all should be get together, because when you're earning from yen or dollars like that, you can contribute to Sri Lanka as well. So it's a win-win situation for both the country and Japan and Sri Lanka both. So again, the qualification that you need to have is IT related, software engineering, ICT related degree from a reputed institute or a university or government. University doesn't. very good. And again, if you have like mobile application development experience, so if you're a tech geek, if you really love to code and those things, if you have, you know, born talent, some people are really talented in coding and that area. So that will added value at the interview. And again, if you know a little bit of Japanese language also, you get plus, it's a plus point, but it's not compulsory because we are starting the Japanese language from zero. I will explain about the other factors also in time to come. So I took all these information from Yumemi INC website also. You also can go to the website and translate into English and get that. So they have established their company in 2000 in January 27th, and they have current employee as up to April 2022, they have 288 full-time employees only. They have other contract and part-time also in saying that.
So Samira, just to stop there, I think 288 full-time employees. So I think Buddhika definitely will be able to give a feedback on this, or contribute to this, or verify this, because according to, I think them, they need to increase the number of employees in the next 3-4 years to around 1,000. So they are trying to recruit professional IT professionals from all around the world, and they are quite interested to find IT professionals from Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka actually has a very potential and very good talented IT professionals. If we actually give an opportunity for Buddhika to comment, Buddhika, what would you comment, Buddhika, about this employment number and your future plans in bringing more employees?
Yeah, thank you, Dishan. Actually, yeah, what you said was very true, because at the moment we have 300 plus employees working at Yumemi Incorporation, and for within another 2-3 years we are planning to expand up to 1,000 employees. So we are working at the moment, we are looking for Android engineers, but as a company we developed Android, iOS and web applications as well.
Yes, thank you very much. So that verifies.
Dilshan, yeah,
yes,
Dilshan,
yes.
Sorry for interrupting. I think it is very important if we can get to know like whether there are any foreign employees also like who are engaging with Yumemi currently.
Yeah, Mr. Dr. Tilak, at the moment Yumemi is a purely Japanese company, but we have very little number of foreign employees, like for Asian countries or South Asian. I'm the only person representing this area, but we have Chinese, Korean, and also few 1 or 2 Russian people, and most of other than that all are Japanese employees. And I mean, since we are working from remote, working from home, and now I'm in Sri Lanka, so we have employees working in Australia, Canada and China. So all over the world we can work from anywhere in the world.
I think that's a very valuable information, so that we will get into it a little while about the flexibility of working. Yeah, Samira, please go ahead.
Actually, you got all the information from a very senior employee from Mr. Buddhika. So we are proud also as a Sri Lankan. He's also working in a company like this. So the capital is 1 billion yen. So you can imagine, right? Their capital is 1 billion yen. So actually, I want to tell you how strong the company is, how strong financial backup they also have in this company. The location, they have Tokyo office, Kyoto, and Kamakura. Again, they have in Kanagawa Prefecture. So that's the main location I found in the website. And again, the business content, even as Mr. Buddhika said, mobile application development and digital media content and lot, you can actually do your own analysis by going to their website. I won't take much of my time on that. And they work with leading companies, like especially I went through Kanabo is a very, large scale, very leading brand, cosmetic brand in Japan. So they work with Toshiba, Fujifilm. So there are key clients like McDonald's Japan, Kenabo Cosmetics, that product, and the Bank of Yokohama, and Bukov Corporation, and there are a lot more. You can go and do your own research. I won't take much of your time. I know all you all are very well educated and surfing in the internet so much. So their projects, so they have done lovely projects with KFC and, you know, Line. Even Line is a kind of WhatsApp in Japan. So they have done some services there as well. So I think Mr. Buddhika would be able to explain in Q&A. We will give a time if you want to know more about their projects. And watch face and a lot of other things were there. I found like eye-catchy ones. I put it in this. So the opportunity is being part of Yumemi employee. Even we can give the chance to Mr. Buddhika also, because it's a project-based learning with the engineers also. When you at LNBTI, you get the chance to talk to the tech leads, the architects and things like that. You get that exposure. So that's very important, and the ability to work as a permanent employee there is a very important thing. Otherwise, you all don't have a permanent job when you migrate. Also said that flexible working hours. Now, Mr. Buddhika said now he's in Sri Lanka, so you can work anywhere in the world. Say if you're planning to migrate, say if you get married or if you think of going to Australia. So it doesn't matter, you can go there and work. So they are very flexible. And again, they say if you can justify, you can get unlimited paid leaves as well. With the talk, because they are very negotiable. You can talk to their top management. And if you're really confident, actually, as I remember Mr. Buddhika was telling, they don't have a kind of annual review for employees. If you they do have, but if you want for a salary increment, you can go and talk to the top management, and if you're confident enough, you can demand for the salary that you want. So that's
so I think just to give a small time for Buddhika to clarify these points. Buddhika, if you can just add a few words to this.
Yeah, Dilshan. Yeah, what Ms. Samira said was true. I mean, for appraisals, we don't have annual or mid-year appraisals, but we have request-based. I mean, the employee has to decide his or her salary. So we have the liberty to decide whatever the amount we need to have. So of course, we have a criteria that for this, if you, for example, if you're a senior software engineer or a tech lead, you should be able to do this kind of tasks. But if you fulfill that, we have a range of salary that each category offers. So we can, I mean, some people ask for raises per year, maybe 2-3 times. So it's also possible. So if you are, I mean, very sound in technology and you show your passion to work with them, so they will definitely, you will get your salary increase what you wanted. And also for paid leaves, yes, that's true. We have unlimited paid leaves. Normally Japanese employees will get 10 days of leave after joining the company. I mean, it will be granted after 6 months. So the first 6 months you won't normal. If it's a normal Japanese company, you don't have, you won't be getting any leaves. But in our company, we can get any number of leave. I mean, you can just only talk with your team, and you have to justify that you need the leave. That's it. Because in our company we don't have managers. So Ola, I mean. It says all our CEOs in our company, so we have the liberty to take our own decisions, and so we don't have managers. So if you want to initiate something as for a company, we just go and pull a request, then it will go through a review, and if it's a good one, it will happen. So that kind of flexibility is there, and also there's no core hours for work.
Buddhika, sorry for interrupting. I know, we know that like most of the participants who have joined here are like already they are in the industry and they are having some kind of experience, maybe national, I think local and international companies. So
yeah,
they may wondering how this will work. Like you are telling that there are no project managers, there are no supervisors, and all are like CEOs. So they may wonder how this works. So can you tell like why they are having such culture, and is it really practical?
Yeah, I mean, if we are, I mean, the CEO facilities, we can initiate anything we want. If it's, I mean, we have a procedure called pull. It's a Japanese word, review, request, proposal, review, and request. So we can go through. I mean, if you want to initiate something, we can create a proposal, and we can go through a review round. And if it's a viable proposal, we can initiate it. And also, as I said, we don't have managers, but in a team, when you are getting into a team, there will be a separate project manager to drive the project. So when you are in a team, there will be a team lead, and we have to communicate each other. But unlike these other software companies, we don't have to report for any manager. So we are, I mean, we have full freedom of that. So even we are taking a leave, we just need to talk to the team, and we can just get a leave, additional leaves. So I think our CEO, Mr. Kataoka, has some foreign exposure, and he just, I mean, he wanted to create a new culture, an exciting culture for employees, and he's and also the I mean, liberty to working hours, the flexibility he has given. He believed that we need to spend more time on our family members, with our family members, so we can choose whatever time frame we want to work. Normally we have to work 140 to 160 hours. It's normal, but I mean, nobody's looking at you whether you have exceeded that amount or not. But I mean, since they have given that liberty, I mean, as employees, we also I mean, try to keep that trust with the company. So I mean, that's how, I mean, this will work.
Okay, so I think, thank you very much. That's a good explanation to show how modern this company is. So it's a real modern company. Especially this kind of a modernity is required for an IT company. I think if you take a look at the rest of the world, most of the top 10 IT companies work like this. So I think it's a very good example for a top IT company to be so modern and so flexible. I think that's really good. So that gives you
Dilshan, sorry, like before you are moving to the next stage, like I would like to bring another question, like which definitely that should be with all the participants. So like usually we have heard that like Japanese people are working very hard, like they don't have any free time, very stressed, and like likewise, like that's the picture we are having. So is it really happening in Japan, or is it like totally different in Yumemi? So could you please explain your experience?
Yeah, Dr. Tilak. And yeah, I would say I have worked in 2 other Japanese companies in my career, but I think I should say this is the most flexible company when I compare these 3 companies, because I mean, those previous 2 companies had flexible time, but we had core hours. I mean, even though we have flexible hours, we should have to work this, I mean, maybe 10 to 4, we need to be in the office. But here, I mean, since we are working from home, I mean, from the top management understand that, I mean, if you are in a home, I mean, we have some to take care our children, go to school to drop them, pick them. So that flexibility they have identified, and they have given the chance to work. So yeah, that's I mean, that's my comments on that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Buddhika. I think who won't love to work in a company like this? You may be flexible company. So I think these participants are, I mean, candidates are really lucky to hear about this news also. And again, they encourage you for your further education, because you are going as a permanent employee there. So you can do your masters if you like to do PhDs and things like that, because in Japanese government, there are like a lot of PhDs, scholarships also happening. Again, once you work for a particular year, time period, 5 or 6 years, so you can of course go to the immigration department and apply for PR also. The applying for PR opportunity also there. So work in anywhere of the world also there, but if you like to go and apply for PR in Japan, that is also possible. You can refer to their immigration websites and things like that for further information on the PR information. I'm not going to talk about that here as well. That opportunity also there. And again, when I'm talking about the cost factor for LNBTI, so you need to pay 1.3 million in Sri Lanka rupees. So that is, if you like, so there's a selection process. I will explain that selection process also. We actually select only 20 candidates, so 20 employees for Yumemi International. So these 20 definitely for sure will get the job in Yumemi International. So therefore, it's a bit of a competitive interview process also. So I will explain about the interview process in time to come, but let me focus on this cost factor. So if you like, after the interview process, after mutual understanding with LNBTI, Yumemi, and with you can pay the entire amount, 1.3 million. If not, you can pay the initial down payment of 500,000. So then you're confirmed the program, you're confirmed also. So from our end, we have offered you this, saying you have selected for this 20, and from your end, by paying 500,000, you have confirmed you are going through this program. So likewise, we have given you an option to pay semester wise. There are 3 semesters because this is a 18 months of a program. 1 semester is inclusive of 6 months. So therefore 1.5 years of a program. So if you like, because when I talk to a lot of candidates, they said, can't I fast track? Because I'm really good at my mobile application development knowledge I have. So I know, so there are like veterans also spoke to me. So then you all can fast track the program, but the Japanese language component, if you like, if you don't have any knowledge about the Japanese language, also a bit of a problem, because you need to talk to them in Japanese language, because Japan is a country, like most of their senior members, they talk in Japanese language. So therefore the company requires minimum N3 level. So this is like when you go to Australia, UK, you need to do IELTS, right? IELTS. So likewise, you need to do Japanese language proficiency test. That is N3 level. That's the mid-range level, because N5 level is the preliminary, like beginner level. N4 is the next level, and N3 is the required skill for a like person to go and work in a corporate culture. So since you will be mainly dealing with coding and all, but you need to read and understand particular documents sent by a particular CEO, or reply in Japanese language, things like that also there. So therefore, in this 1.5 years time, you can refer to our LNBTI website. We have shared the link also, the curriculum. On top of that, we teach you Japanese language from the day 1. So if you can quickly learn, that's how you can fast track within 1 year or within 6 months. If you can say that you're confident enough to show N3, and you're confident enough to do the whatever the particular mobile application development required by Yumemi International, at the interview, I would suggest at the interview, you can express your thoughts about how to fast track this program. Otherwise, you have to stay 1.5 years to show your skills and get into the program.
So Samira, previous slide, if you can.
Sure.
Yeah. So in this, in order to give a kind of a very fair competition, we have a kind of an interview. So once you are through, or once you are selected from the interview, then the candidates who are actually selected from the interviews will be notified that they are selected. Then they can proceed with the payment. So upon their selection only, they actually can, or only they have to pay. Otherwise, they don't have to pay, because upon selection. So out of now, we have quite a number of applications, and we will be scheduling interviews, and the interviews are going to be held on the 13th and 16th. And there are a lot of interviews that we'll have to go through. So once we complete these interviews, and we will select 20 applicants. So those 20 applicants, once they're selected, we will be officially notifying them and they can actually proceed with the payment. So once they do the payment, they will actually first payment will be 500,000 rupees. Likewise, as Samira mentioned, on a semester wise, you have to pay the next 2 payments. So you will actually have to go through 3 semesters, 18 months, and you will learn, of course, the technical aspects of what Yumemi wants, as well as the Japanese language knowledge. So Japanese language knowledge, as very correctly Samira mentioned, if you have previously learned, it will be easy. You might not have to wait for 18 months. You can actually fast track and finish it as early as possible and proceed to joining the Yumemi Corporation. So that is what actually you need to clarify. But in the question and answer session, we will take more questions. Yes, Samira.
Adding to that, Mr. Deshan, even though you're going to fast track, the total cost would be 1.3 million.
Same. Yes.
You kind of a flexible amount payment plan, but you need to pay 1.3 million and fast track and then go and work with Yumemi.
So, yeah. So once you finish that, and your first salary is going to be like 1 million.
Yes.
So you will actually cover this cost in like probably in the next in about 2 months. Yeah.
Yes. So that is also an interesting fact, because you can cover if you look at the ROI, return on investment, it's very, you can easily recover whatever the amount that you have incurred.
In very short period, in 2 months.
In a very, very short period, actually. So if you look at actually Mr. Deshan also explained the procedure. So we are going to have some interviews. We will call you and schedule the interviews. If someone has not got the call for the interview, we will just call us WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number also I'll provide you at the end. So this is a procedure and process. And finally, you will get selected to Yumemi Corporation. They'll also interact with you and things like that. This full 20 would definitely get the job in Japan. I mean, Yumemi Corporation.
And also they will in the last 6 months, because it's a project based learning, in the last 6 months they will be very closely working with the Japanese software engineers. So they will have to actually communicate with using, of course, in Japanese actually. So by that time, the applicants actually would have really got good knowledge of Japanese language. That is how we have made the curriculum. So Dr. Tilak will actually explain in the next slide about the curriculum in what is going to happen. Yes. So I think the academic model is what Dr. Tilak will explain. So Dr. Tilak, we would like to invite you to talk about this.
Yeah, actually, now for this program, we are getting students like who are already having that ICT basic knowledge. So we assume that they are having basic programming skills and basic software development skills. We don't expect them to have like mobile application development knowledge and any specific areas in Yumemi expected by Yumemi. So then therefore, especially now, as Mr. Deshan mentioned, there's an interview process. So in that process, we are going to check whether the applicants are having basic software development skills. For example, basic programming, basic data structures and algorithm knowledge, basic software development knowledge will be checked there. So if they are okay, like it's like we don't expect that into the like master level, just like the basics will be checked. And then if the students are okay, if they are competitive, like competent, then like we would like to give opportunity for them to join with the program. Because from our end, like we are trying our best to select the best students and send to the Yumemi, because and then the other challenge is like the students are like they are very busy with their personal like maybe office work and the personal like life matters. So therefore, like we will check whether they are okay with our program to like go through that program. So that's the initial like conditions we are checking. So after like entering into the program, we are teaching that mobile application development concepts, and then the practicals also will be done within the program. So we know that all of you may be experts on software development. So therefore, it may not be that much challenging thing for all of you. So, but the most important thing is like applying practices in Japan. For example, if we take a user interface, so there may be like totally different designs from Japan and maybe Sri Lanka or any other international environment. So therefore, we should be aware the expectations of Japanese people, Japanese industry. So therefore, within our program, so we are especially expertising those like Japanese best practices, the way of doing those things in their industry. And the other main important thing is to get to know the Japanese technical terms, because we expect all the employees to, like when they go there, we expect them to work in Japanese language, communicate like sending emails, reading documents, and may even like when they are coding, like they may need to use like technical terms. So therefore, we will make a very good environment for our students to get that experience, that exposure within Sri Lanka. So as this program like runs, I think around 1.5 years, so students will get opportunity to work with the local as well as foreign, that means Japanese software engineers, especially the software engineers from Yumemi Corporation, and then they'll be able to like communicate in Japanese language and like read the documents written in Japanese language, do the presentations in Japanese language. So likewise, even before they like joining with the company, they will get that total exposure to Yumemi engineers. So then it will be really easy for you to like join with the company, because like even before you join with the company, they know well about you. So it will be really beneficial for you, because they will be the your project supervisor, or they will be your mentor. So you can have very good like close contacts with them, and like you can easily select for like join with the company and continue your projects when you like finalize the program. So actually early Miss Samira also mentioned like we are teaching Japanese language up to entry level. If we take Japanese language, like there are a few levels, like starting from N5, N4, N3, N2, sorry, N3, N2, N1. Likewise, there are around 5 levels in Japanese language. So like N1 is like very maybe native level. So N5 is very basic level. So but N3, that is like kind of like communicative level, and maybe they can do a lot of self-study, and they can like progress well with the experience exposure they are getting. So therefore, Yumemi Corporation expect our candidates to be to like complete entry level Japanese. So now the most important thing here is like with all your work, with all your personal commitments, like whether you can achieve this entry level within 1.5 years of time. Yes, actually, as a like one and only Japanese higher education institute in Sri Lanka, we are like already we are producing a lot of students like who are joining with Japanese universities, and who are practicing for Japanese industry. So we are having that exposure, and we are having that experience to train or like guide our students with another workload. For example, now all our internal students, our undergraduate students are supposed to learn ICT and Japanese language. So they are having comparatively high workload compared to any other degree in Sri Lanka. Because like any other degree in Sri Lanka, they are giving only one target, like achieving IT or management or whatever, just one qualification. But all LNBTI students, they are supposed to do like cover like multiple qualification, language plus technical knowledge. So therefore, we are having that experience to assist students, guide students to balance that workload and learn language very easily. So therefore, our all our expert language teachers and the learning methods, and then the project-based learning concepts are aligned according to that. So therefore, as like many Japanese experienced teachers, technical plus language teachers are teaching all the students. So it will be very easy task for those candidates to achieve that entry level with all other work, with the things we are teaching, and with their personal work, their office work, they will be easy to able to like complete that within the given time period. And especially in the like maybe latter part of the program, so students are supposed to do like projects, and those projects are supervised by the Yumemi engineers. So then they will get a very good chance to do all the things in Japanese. So that's the path, Mr. Dechan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. I have one question, because most of the students are asked about how, like, whether it's online or physically. Is it a must to come physically? Because some work stay, I mean, in somewhere of the country, or some overseas also flight. So how do you advise on that?
Yeah, actually, now that's a very good question. So we know that all of you are like busy with your schedule. So therefore, we have arranged all the lectures like maybe in the weekdays online mode. So usually lectures are scheduled from 7 to 9 in the weekdays. So therefore, around like there'll be Japanese language have been arranged around for 4 days on weekdays. It's around 2 hours per day. So, and then the technical subject, that means mobile application development, will be done one day on weekdays, 2 hours. So, and then the maybe most probably Sunday there will be physical lectures at LNBTI premises. So that physical lecture, actually we want to do some practical kind of things on that physical lecture. And the Japanese language also will be done physically on that day, because we highly believe that to be proficient in Japanese, like we should have kind of like a physical environment, like communication environment to expertise. So therefore, we expect students to be at LNBTI on Sundays for Japanese language and doing some mobile application practicals.
Yeah, Dr. Thila, one more question. Now, there are applicants who have already applied from Japan also. So those applicants, they have the knowledge of basic Japanese language also. So do they also, like, what's the situation that I mean, how are we going to them also?
Yeah, actually for them, like we can like consider them like case by case, and we can review their applications, and we can like internally analyze, and we can assist them accordingly. We can take their request separately, and if they are really competent, we can give opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
So I think we can now open the question and answer session now. You can actually unmute your mic and basically ask questions, or you can put it to the chat box. So until you put it to the chat box, there are a few questions that have come through the chat box. That is, I think this is a question for Dr. Tilak. What is the level of Sri Lankan O-level Japanese? I think what he's asking
actually,
about.
Sri Lankan O-level Japanese it's like very closer to N5 level. That means very basic level. Like sometimes, like even though the students are having A pass for the O-level in Japanese language, like they don't have N5 level. It's like very closer to N5, but depend on the things they refer. Like now, when you join with a company, like you have to work. Especially Japanese people are really like process oriented, like very formal. So therefore, you have to be very accurate on everything and process oriented. So like we can't let you to like do any kind of mistake there. So therefore, like I think you have to go through other levels, and then you have to like thorough on the level currently you are having. So therefore, we strongly recommend you to follow our Japanese language. It's like it's not just like learning of language. It's like learning of working culture, because like and especially the technical terms. So like we are not limiting into JLPTO, NET, Japanese language levels. So we are more we are teaching a lot of things rather than the basic level.
Okay. So another question is that the selection criteria is based on other what I think the participant is asking about this interview. What is the kind of interview, or what is the kind of things that we will be checking at the interview?
Actually, Dilshan, like mainly we are checking their like competence in programming, like basic software development areas, basic programming skills. Maybe you may need to know like maybe basic programming, you know that maybe like you may have knowledge in any language like C, .NET or Java, PHP, or like whatever the language. And maybe you know that when you work with the mobile application environment, like you should have like object oriented concepts, and maybe database kind of knowledge, and maybe data structures and algorithm kind of knowledge, software engineering life cycle, maybe kind of like project management like knowledge. So you know that like what are the basics like required for a software engineer. Very basic level will be expected in the selection criteria.
Right. Thank you.
And again, Mr. Dilshan, to add to that, say, at the interview, we will screen how passionate you are to get this job opportunity and how passionate you are to go and work in Japan. So your personality, those things also would matter. So therefore, like Dr. Tilak said, that is technical area, but other areas also we will take into consideration, right, Mr. Dilshan?
I think definitely yes.
Yeah, actually, we will check how serious you are
Exactly.
on your request.
That is
Yeah,
right.
because like Japanese people are very serious on the things they are doing. So we expect you also to be serious about this program. Otherwise, like just sake of doing won't work.
Yes, I think being a Japanese, the only Japanese institute, higher education institute, backed by, of course, the Japanese company, our mother company is a Japanese company, a software engineering company. I think so. Japanese are very serious. So I think we expect the same from the participants who will actually applicants who would join the program. To be very serious, because this is a very serious program. It's not just the program where you come and learn something. It's a program that you have to put your heart and soul, dedication, passion, and work for it, and basically get it actually. So that is very important. So once you're selected, when you get into the program, you need to really keep your focus and do your work well, I think. And after 1.5 years, definitely it will be paid off, because it's a very, very interesting and a very lucrative opportunity. So why I'm saying that is because a lot of questions have come in different ways. So there is one more question they've asked about: can't we pay the fees after we get the employment? Well, actually, once you are selected, we only select 20 because they only said 20 can be taken. So once the 20 are selected, it's basically we conduct the program well, and we make sure that you pass and you go through it very well, because that is the reason that we select the best 20, best in the sense not the 20 who has actually got the best qualifications, but the best 20 who has actually got qualifications, yes, but who has the need and the passion to go to Japan, focus and passion. So they are also very serious. We are also very serious. So that is why we are very serious in getting that type of a student base. And also when we get the student base, there is a big cost involvement by teaching and going through a lot of activity-based program. So for an activity-based or a project-based program, there is a lot of cost involved. So that is why we are unable to do that. So you need to pay, not upfront. We don't ask you to pay upfront, but of course, case by case, if you have issues in payment, we can actually liaise with banks, and we can actually get banks assistance for your financial requirements. Any other questions? Any other comments, questions, clarifications? So if there are no questions, I would actually like to then give a few moments for a very important person to talk to at this moment. That is our Vice Chancellor, Professor Anand Kumara, who is, of course, a Sri Lankan researcher for 40 years, has been in Japan for 40 years, and had held so many top 10 academic positions like Vice Chancellor, Dean, Vice President, and so on and so forth. And also, Professor Anand Kumara was privileged, actually, we are privileged to see Professor Anand Kumar, as he's one of the only persons who is, or the Sri Lankan, who is awarded the prestigious Japan International Cooperation, and that is JICA President's Award for the valuable contribution for Japan and Sri Lanka. So please welcome Professor Anand Kumar to talk a few words on this area. Professor, over to you.
Okay, Mr. Dilshan, thank you very much. And while listening to the clarifications given by our previous speakers, I think our audience should have received a very good understanding about what you are going to do and what we are going to do. And can you see the full screen or not yet?
Samita, if you can take.
Okay, I stopped sharing. Sorry, Professor. I stopped. Okay.
Oh. Can I see the mic?
Yes, you can. We can see.
Not the full?
Not the full screen, yes.
Okay, okay.
Not the full screen.
That's fine. We'll proceed like this.
Okay. So, in fact, I think this is not just offering a program and assisting the young ones to go to Japan, but I think this is a very rare opportunity for our energetic young Sri Lankans to develop their career in Japan. In fact, now I came to Sri Lanka after nearly 40 years of staying in Japan at the academia as well as with the UN. But after I came here just this March, I found that Sri Lanka has been facing to so many questions, so many problems, so many negative aspects for life and everything. It is very sad. We did not expect that kind of things to happen in the country. But now what can we do? Yes, let's all of us get together to assist the development of the country. But at the same time, one of the very urgent need for the country is to have increased foreign exchange. In that aspect also, this program will work very much. So what I would like to propose is that, as the speakers have already mentioned to you, that by little bit mastering what you have learned so far and what is needed for Japan industry, so you can get a very good opportunity to go to Japan and then just get a job, as well as to contribute to both Japan and Sri Lanka. So as you know, in fact, Japan is a very highly advanced country which pays very strong attention to the R&D activities, and not like in our country. You will see that IT, ICT, these aspects are everywhere in every type of industry, not like what we see in Sri Lanka. So once you get into Japan, you will be able to be exposed to all these things. The problem is that Japan is not like other countries in the Western world, or Australia, UK, or America, or Canada, like that. It is a little bit different country, even though it is very well developed. Actually, foreigners did not get enough opportunities to join as professionals. But very recently, the situation has been changing. It is mainly because of so many factors, and population is becoming aged. That means the percentage of aged people in the country is going very high. And at the same time, the country has been trying to introduce more and more IT, ICT aspects into various kinds of activities, as I was just explaining. So they forecast, they even now, there is a very big deficit for the, that means the demand and supply wise, there is a very big difference. There is a demand, but supply cannot be found only within the country, Japan. Even though the universities are producing many IT graduates, but that number is not sufficient at all. That's why now Japan has been changing their policies to take foreigners to serve the country, particularly in the IT sector. In fact, through the discussions, I am sure you got a very good understanding about how to become successful in Japan. In fact, there are many people who are trying to go to Japan with various kinds of routes, sometimes even with the folk documents. Some people are trying to go there. No need to say that we cannot approve that. But if you go in the right way, in the right direction, and with the right qualification, you can definitely be successful over there. And it is not only for your own success, but even for the development of Sri Lanka as well, on the other hand. So first of all, that academic qualification is necessary, and you all are having that academic qualification, I believe. And then you should have a working knowledge of Japanese language. So working knowledge means that is not only for communication, but including the technical terms required for the job. And in fact, now our objective is not just to send somebody who will be subordinates of somebody else. Now we want our candidates who will be dispatched to Japan to become leaders in the company. So Yumemi is very much ready to accept so many leaders from other countries as well, but from Sri Lanka, particularly this kind of a program is being conducted only with Sri Lanka. Even though Mr. Buddhika was saying there are no managers and all that, but it doesn't mean that there are no leaders within the company, and you can be a leader in various kinds of aspects relating to a job while you work over there. So particularly because of that, understanding about the Japanese society and business culture is very important. So you know that there are many unique customs in Japan now. When you work with a counterpart, Japanese counterpart in another company, then there are so many aspects you should know in advance to have very good communication. Okay, so now, particularly in our country, now we have been faced into so many problems. Actually, in the earlier times, I was talking about the content of the program of our university, this LNBTI. But now, in addition to that, in fact, if there is any way we can assist our country to solve the current problems as well as those problems which will prevail in the country in the future as well, that is the best. So if you have the qualification, if you have the interest to go to Japan, that will definitely assist not only for you, yourself, your family, or your children, but it is a very good opportunity for you to assist both Japan and Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka need this kind of very quality professionals to serve to both countries through this kind of arrangement. In fact, your roles as mobile application developers, then I'm sure there are so many things what we are not so much familiar in Sri Lanka, but in Japan. So I'm sure you can, now we can readily understand that our smartphone is completely different from what we saw several years ago. And they are now connected with so many aspects in the society. So by going to the Yumemi, you will receive many opportunities to develop various programs by using smartphones in particular. And actually, if you look at the salaries in Japan, usually IT system engineers, their salaries are quite high. And now Japan has been talking about how to increase the salaries of IT engineers in particular, because there is a very high demand. But one of the happiest news today is that there are some statistics about the average salaries of people in the country, depending on the type of jobs. You at Yumemi will receive a very high salary when compared to the average salary in Japan. So you are quite lucky if you have been selected for this program. In fact, if you have a choice of either working in Japan or in Sri Lanka, provided that you pass all the necessary, you complete all the necessary requirements. But just when we look at these two simulations, in fact, the first one is suppose that you start work in Sri Lanka after completing the degree, and then roughly about how much you will get until the retirement. So according to some statistics, it seems to be about 38 million rupees in Sri Lanka. But if you go to Japan with a degree and this required qualifications, what our previous speakers have clarified to you, that lifetime earnings are so high, and we cannot imagine about how we can get this kind of earning for a person from a country like Sri Lanka. But if you go through this path in the right way, you will be able to access to this kind of a very high remuneration package. In fact, this is not all. This is just an average figure, but as I was explaining, and also what Mr. Buddhika mentioned was that the salary in the at the Yumemi is quite higher compared to the average salaries. So that means this number, 756 million rupees, according to the current conversion rate of yen, I can easily assume that your total lifetime earnings in Japan, if you go through this path, will be much higher than this one. In addition to that, of course, being a permanent resident in the country, you will be entitled for very fruitful what do you call health system and pension and everything. So after you finish your job and get retirement from the company, you will be entitled for a Japanese pension. Whether you stay in Sri Lanka or in Japan or Australia or Canada, whatever it is, you will receive that Japanese pension according to your salary, what you have paid over there. And it's no need to say that it's a very high amount. So in fact, now, in addition to the salary, what you will get is the exposure to a very professional network in Japan. So these professional networks are connected to all other developed countries in the world, including developing countries. So with that kind of very high professional networks, I am sure you will be able to sometimes to bring, let's say, another company to Sri Lanka, or work in another country like that in the future. So there are so many very good impacts what you can expect through joining a very professional network, what you cannot find in Sri Lanka. So if you are being selected, I would like to congratulate you in advance that you will be one of the very rare fortunate persons to become a global IT engineer through the Yumemi Corporation. Actually, if you work hard, and as our Dr. Dilak and others have explained, if you complete all the requirements, what we expect, what the Yumemi is expecting, then you can complete the program even before 18 months. So that means after 6 months, if you prove that all the required qualifications, abilities are there, then you can go to Japan and start earning a very high salary, which is a dream in the Sri Lanka. Okay, so thank you very much. And please understand that it is not so easy to go to Japan through this kind of, without this kind of a program, and also a little very difficult to get a permanent job in Japan as an IT engineer from a country like Sri Lanka. So this is a very rare opportunity. And if you have been selected and if you decide to work very hard, there is no doubt that you will be able to get a lot of very good packages, which will ultimately assist both Sri Lanka and Japan. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. I think some good information. So I think that's some information which is which was given by a person who has been and who has seen, who has experienced a lifetime of employment, and how good the life in Japan is all about. So I think that's a very, very good description of how an excellent life you can have in Japan, and how good opportunity is this for you to explore. So do you have, if I would like to invite more questions, if there is any questions, since we have very few moments to go ahead to proceed. Any other questions?
Yeah, Dilshan, till they are sending their questions, I would like to emphasize one more thing. Actually, many now these days, like many are looking for like migration opportunities. So then, like they may think like why we should apply Japan now. Now there are a lot of opportunities everywhere, but especially why Japan? So especially we know that Japan is a country with very highly valued culture and very closer to Sri Lankan culture, and they really value Sri Lankans. There are no any discriminations at all, even though like we are from South Asia, or even though we are from Sri Lanka, or especially for ladies or girls, like it's very safety country. It's like even in midnight, like they can walk in road like without any trouble. So for kids, like they are providing lot of support, like maybe education, health, and like they are supporting a lot for to survive in the society, like in Japanese people. So therefore, and like they are respecting each other. So I think Japan is a country where like anyone can live very easily and with high value. So no discrimination at all, and respecting each other. So they'll treat foreigners in equal level. So when you so therefore, like you like if you think think like learning Japanese language as a challenge, so like don't think twice about that thing. So that challenge will be accepted by LNBTI. So what you have to do is like just get decision and work hard, so we will guide you to the relevant goal.
I think that's very good information for the participants. Few more questions. What are the documents do I need to prepare prior to the interview? So basically the interview, I think the main certificates are required, and a certain whatever the projects that you have done, if you have certificates or any documentation regarding that, that will be very useful. Dr. Tilak, other than that, what are the other documents?
I think they have to share all their experience, working experience, if they have any research work or any extracurricular thing, all the project relevant knowledge and the responsibilities they have taken, and the roles and responsibilities in the industry. So that should be entered in the CV or the given template by LNBTI.
Okay, that's good. The other question is it safe for a female to join this program and go to Japan? Of course, definitely, because I think Japan is one of the safest countries in the world with a very, very low crime rate. I think even a female, even a young female, even a very young female can actually go at any time. So it's a country
Yeah,
like
actually
that.
now, if we consider the LNBTI students, like now we are having several student badges, like who are starting their degree just after O level. There are a lot of girls like who are really interested to go to Japan and continue their career, like very young girls, because their parents believe that Japan is one of best countries for especially the girls, like the ladies. So therefore, like you don't need to worry about that thing. So it's like they are having like a very good security system, rules and regulations. And the other thing is like from their culture, they are respecting each other and value each other. So quality of life is there in very high level.
I think that's really good.
I think Professor may elaborate more things about that thing.
Yeah. So I think,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, exactly. What Dr. Tilak says is exactly correct. Actually, you may know that Japan is a country which is having the very minimum number of police members in the police as a police staff. It is because there are no crimes actually, and now I used to live in Japan actually since about 40 years ago. And I can see that even in the midnight, around 12 o'clock, I can see some girls are walking from the station to their homes. and nobody is chasing after them, and they are very comfortable to go back. So it is really surprising why Japan could develop the society up to this level. And therefore, I'm sure if you get an opportunity to go there, then you will be so surprised to see how a country could develop up to that level.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Professor, we can observe like many ladies are living without any marriage and without any issue in the society, and it is really highly acceptable. It's very common.
Yes, actually, marriage is a different aspect, but as you say now, I think you wanted to say that without a man,
Yeah.
then how can a
Yeah,
girl
without
or female can
they live
live?
alone.
No problem at all. You are completely free. But I would advise our people to get married because it has a different meaning.
Okay. Thank you. So I think there is another question about will there be another coding test after the interview? I think at the end of the program, once you finish the program, there will be a coding test just to test your knowledge. I think, right, Dr. Tilak?
So, Dilshan, could you please repeat?
Will there be a coding test after the interview? So I think after the interview, there will be
Yeah, actually, like there were so many requests from applicants, like mentioning the difficulty of physically attending for exam. So therefore, considering all the requests, so LNBTI management has decided to like limit that monitoring process into a technical interview. So therefore, there will be only a technical interview in the selection process.
Yes. Then also, could you please explain, please mention again how to apply for the interviews? So if applying for the interviews basically is to send your application as soon as possible. Samira, if you can put email address, then we can actually see. So to this email address, if you can, yeah, if you can send your application, if your CV as soon as possible, then we could look at your CV, go through your CV and see whether that CV, the details fits our requirements and schedule for the interviews. That is simple as a samira@lnbti.lk. Forward your CV today itself, and then we'll look at that and we'll actually schedule the interview also for you. Anything else that any other questions? Okay, I think you're clear about all requirements and about the program. So please take this opportunity as a very good opportunity to explore, especially in this current scenario in the country. Can't we pay the fee after we get the employment? So this is a question that we another asked. No, you actually have to pay according to the fees that we have actually allocated. So basically, once you are selected, you will have to pay 500,000 rupees. Then at the beginning of each semester, you have to pay an equal amount. So once you get the employment, of course, definitely you will go to Japan straight and you will be working from there. So therefore that there are technical issues, so I don't think we will be able to allow that. So you will have to pay according to the fee requirements.
Mr. Deshan, I think that we would be able to help you with bank loans if you want to use any letters from LNBTI. Those things we would be able to provide you, and even LNBTI itself, because we have undergraduate students, we have bank loan facility contact points. So we would be able to facilitate you that also, since most of you all are working, it's easy for you to obtain the loan as well.
Right. So if you need any clarification, just send the email to samira@lnbti.lk.
There's another question also.
Yeah. Can I have more explanation about software development training process with Yumemi engineers? Is it possible to follow totally online?
I think he's the one who are also in Japan. I think Pasan is from Japan, I think.
Okay. So I think we can have a separate discussion with Pasan if he's in Japan, definitely, because then one-to-one discussion would be really good, I think. Shall we organize a kind of a small discussion with Pasan online separately because you're in Japan? If you can.
Hassan, would you be able to email me, or I will drop my number here? Please WhatsApp me.
Okay, so thank you very much. Yeah, that's fine. Any other questions? Looks everything is cleared out. So actually, we hope that you would take this as a great opportunity. And of course, if you have not sent your applications, please send your applications to samira@lnbti.lk. So I think we have come to the end of the session now. And I thank you sincerely for joining us and clarifying all the requirements. But if you still have any clarification, please contact us on 077-609-5255 or samira@lnbti.lk. So thank you very much and have a good evening.